everybody! It's my top 5 go-to card games. Now, I use the word go-to, other people might use the word filler. Now, I think filler has just a titch of a negative connotation, but what it means is it's a game that usually takes less amount of time to play. My max is 30 minutes at this point for my filler card games, but they fill the time when you just got a little bit of time before you either end the night, before people show up, and you want to play a game before you get to another bigger game and you're waiting, or you just kind of want to play a short game. So fill, yes. Great, yes. So these are my go-to card games that fill the time when you just got a little bit of time to play a game. Let's get it started. My number 5 go-to card game is... It's so hard to dance with the little card box. Coloretto. This is a 2 to 5 player game, and I like it because it goes to 5. Sometimes those smaller games go 2 to 4. And so if you've got that 5th player, you can't play it. But Coloretto has been my go-to game for years. I love jumping into this game because there is a really slick feature. You draw a card or you take a splay of cards. That's what you do on your turn. When you draw a card, you have to put it into one of the columns, one of the splays. And you only get to put 3 cards in a particular column, and there's just enough columns for everybody at the table. So if you've got 4 players, you have 4 columns, and you put a card into one of 4 columns. You can put it in one that's empty, you can put it in one that's got a 1 or 2, but after you put that 3rd one in, no more cards go in that one. So what's the point of the game? You want to score 3 different colors in the Coloretto of these little chameleons. And there are a lot of colors, and players are going to try to kind of put these colors in rows that they think you want to kind of mess you up. Because everything is open information. Once you take a section, once you take up to 3 cards, which could have 1, 2, or 3 cards in it, you put it in your area and everyone knows, oh, you've got a brown one, you've got 2 blues, you've got a +2, which is just +2 points. And they can see, oh, you're going for blue, you've got a brown, but if I throw a yellow, pink, and a red in this and force you to take that, because players can either take a stack or they can play a card, they're gonna really mess you up. And so there's so much player interaction, there's so much observation going on in the game, and you always want to set up your own stacks that you want to take, but you can't guarantee it because you can't do both. You can't play a card and take the deck that you want right away. You can't do that, and that's what just, it's just so good, right? It makes so much sense. You have to wait all the way around until it comes to you to take the column that you want. And you just play through that. After everyone takes one of the available columns, only one player gets to take 1 from each round, then you just deal out the cards again. You just start where you left off, and you go through this giant stack of cards until you get to the one that has the little arrow that says last round, and then you're going to score up. So it's a fast, fun game that you just want to replay. And it's got so much to like about it because it just gets you thinking, it gets you interacting with everybody, and it kind of drives you crazy, but in a good way. All right, on to my number 4. This game is one that I have bought and shared with several people so far, and I just think it's a beautiful game, but it's also a really cool example of card drafting. It is... Oh, Hanami! Yes! Oh, Hanami. Okay, so this game is beautiful, but what you do is you deal out to every player just a stack of cards. Just a bunch of cards. And you look at them, and you decide to take 2. And then you will put the cards between you and the player to your left, and then you will put them out into your personal area. You get to have 3 columns, and what you're trying to do is go in ascending order or descending order when you play down those cards. And so when you play, let's say, a 25 and you've got a 78, probably start a new column with your 78, because if you put the 78 and the 25, you can't put anything in between it. That's the cool thing. So you got card drafting, selection, then you play into your player area in 3 different columns, going up or going down, don't slide cards in between, and then you score at the end of the rounds. So there's a green scoring, then there's the blue, and you add blue to the green, and then lastly you're going to add the pinks and the grays. And so there's scoring phases where you're not scoring cards, so you really want to get in early on some of those like greens and blues, but you can't forget about the pinks, because the pinks have that scale that like goes and it just like shoots straight up. And so if you just get a bunch of them, then all those cards are worth a lot of points, and you just score them at the end. I've seen players win the game with pink scoring many times, right? It's a really strong strategy. The game is clean, it is clever, it's fun. You see the cards that go around, and you probably see at least, one set of those cards, or maybe a couple of them again. And you got to think, okay, what's in here? What should I take now? What should I pass on? Looking over, ooh, if I give them this, then maybe they won't be able to play it because they can't slide it into here and here and here. So you're also looking at your opponent to your left to figure out, ooh, which cards can I send them? Clean game, super, super fun. 2 to 4, right? Those card games that take 2 to 4 players, it doesn't really go up to 5, but oh, is it so good. It's so good, it's so clean, and again, really, really beautiful. About a 20-minute game, and my 8-year-old niece played this no problem. She picked it up right away, absolutely loved it. Started to cheat a little on purpose, a little stinker, but you gotta keep your eye on those 8-year-olds. I love you, but this game is really, really fun. All right, moving on to my number 3 go-to card game. Now, not everybody is just ready to jump into a slightly cutthroat game that's competitive like Coloretto or Ohanami, so perhaps you might be up for my number 3. Sprawlopolis! It is a teeny tiny pocket card game, and while there's not much here, there's so much packed into the game, and it's like overly replayable. It's insane how many scoring combinations you can get in this game, and it is this card laying, city building, where you're building this map with roads and locations and all these different quadrants in a central playing area, and everybody's on the same team. You also get to pass cards, which is this feature where you pass cards knowing that you're playing this one, but you're also giving information to other players and giving them an opportunity to do something in the future, which you hope to or you plan to complete. But you are trying to accomplish 3 scoring cards, and that's on the back side of every single card in the deck, which is just so smart. There's, again, just the combinations of those scoring. You get points for outside limits, you get points for different sections, you get points for the cattle or the different kinds of locales. Just a lot of really, really cool stuff. And then you also get to score the largest area of each color. So you want to collect like all the greens over here and all the pinks over here and all the blues over there. And you're doing it just one after the other, drawing and then playing those cards. It's streamlined, it's simple. People can just join in as they walk by. I've had just family walk by and say, what's that? That looks fun. We started off with 2 and we ended with 4 people at the table playing this. It's a great, great cooperative game that is, again, loads of fun. I love the cooperative feature, and it is just so dynamic with the endless amounts of variability, right? There's just so many variations on how to score this game and how many times you can play it, which is endless. All right, we are all the way to my number 2. I'm so excited. Now, this game has a similar feature to another game that I've talked about, which is the card drafting, which is just such a smart, clever mechanic. I love it. And it's also, I would say, as equally cute and beautiful as the artwork in Ohanami. It is Sushi Go, that's right. The pick and pass card game. This game just is so easy to share and pull out. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Even though you play 3 full rounds and score every single time, you still can play this game in half an hour. It's 2 to 5 players, and the game is just super simple. You deal out cards to every player. Depending on how many players are in the game, that card, amount's going to change. But you've got cards. You take one, you place it face down, put your deck here. Once everyone's selected, you flip your card over. And now everyone knows, ooh, you're going for tempura. Ooh, you're going for sashimi. And everyone's like, don't pass them those cards. They need pairs and threes. And then you grab the deck and you look at it. You pick one, everyone pass, you turn it over. And you just do that until you get past one that you just flip over and place in your tableau. And then you're going to score that round. Now, in just this base game, you've got pudding, and pudding you keep till the end of the game. So you just kind of keep that out. Don't score it till the end because the person who has the most is going to get 6 points. The person who has the fewest puddings gets -6 points. And everybody in between just doesn't score. They just get a 0, which is good because it's not -6. Now, it's obviously not 6 points, but that's how the pudding score. That's your dessert. You wait till the end to have your dessert like a good kid. But every round, you're just going to score up those points, and then you just write it on a sticky note, and you just stick it on the box, and then you deal out more cards and do 3 full rounds of that, making super cool combinations with your nigiri, with your, wasabi, and your, what are the ones that go with wasabi? You put them on the wasabi. It's not the nigiri, because the nigiri are the ones you get like a 1, 3, 6, 10, which is great to get those combinations. Those are dumplings. It is the nigiri. Haha, yeah, because there's the 1, 2, and 3. Oh, I have this game like nearly memorized. I love it so much. And it's so stinking cute. I love the artwork here. It's so colorful, it's so cute, it's so fun, and it's so shareable. Absolutely shareable. Before I move on, I just wanted to point out that this is Sushi Go Party, and I would highly recommend this if you've got Sushi Go. It is the 2 to 8 players now, so instead of just to 5, you get to play even more players, and there are so many other beautiful foods in here, different kinds of desserts, and different combinations. You essentially make a menu, and you get to create all these different endless combinations of really cool cards with the same base feature of the drafting and then the scoring at the end of 3 rounds. I highly recommend this, and both games are really affordable, and I have both versions of it because I like them both. I mean, if I need like small room and space, I pack my Sushi Go. If I can take this to a game night and there are more people who are there, then I play with this version. Okay, there were 3 games that I will very briefly go through that didn't make my list, but they are honorable mentions for a variety of reasons. So before I get to my number 1, here are the games that just missed my list. Now, this first one is a game that I play as much as any of these other games, and I can't say I enjoy it, but I play it. And so it is my go-to kind of filler card game, but it's because we play it and Lewis loves it because he wins it. It's called Corsari. This game is so frustrating. It is so frustrating to play, and I don't know if I like it, but I like playing it, and I think there's a slight difference in that. So Corsari just missed my list because it is a go-to game that I play a lot. I just feel worse after playing it than I did before. Another game that I have played kind of endlessly and I just love it. I pull it out and I just kick back in my chair, grab my red chips, and I play No Thanks. Now, I love No Thanks. This is a game I share at game night at the college, and I think it's just so easy to get into, and it's such an easy concept that you don't want to take really high point cards, but you also have a limited amount of these kind of betting chips. And once you don't have any betting chips to say no thanks, then you have to take the card, and you might get in a pickle. You might get in a really, really tough spot, and there's nothing better than watching somebody just rack up the negative points in this game. It's a hoot. I love it so much. 3 to 5, 20 minutes. And we even got this because we are missing chips and our cards are getting really run down. And so we've got this one, and the cards are even bigger, and they've got really funny things on the bottom of them. Like horrible, dastardly on the really, really high number cards. The low number cards, down low, too slow. Just really goofy, fun things. So No Thanks is a huge, huge house favorite. And the last game that I say is my honorable mention is a game that we take to game night a lot and a lot of people really, really like. And it's got a fun, easy, streamlined scoring mechanism. It is point salad, and it's a point salad scoring, which means that you get to choose your own scoring and you get to select your own veg to create this salad and score it accordingly. So do you want to grab a bunch of cabbage and then score up the cabbage? Do you want to avoid onions? Do you want to get the most lettuce? It's up to you. And there's just a tableau in the center that players draw cards from. You draw a scoring card or you draw 2 veg cards. That's it. And you just put them in your player area. And then once the cards in the center, like 1 or 2 of the rows are gone, something like that, then you just like count up your points and you're like, yay, I made the best point salad. So super, super easy game to share, and it comes out quite a bit. All right, I'm super excited to share my number 1 go-to card game. This is a game that I have spent maybe the most hours playing, and I just like it. I like one aspect of the game. Well, I like both. Ha! There's 2. So the first one is cooperative. Yep, my number 1 card game is a cooperative card game. And the other one is trick-taking. It is The Crew, The Quest for Planet 9. And I am going to go back to this because I played through this entire game, and I would sit down and play it again right now. And I could play any of these scenarios and have a great time. I love this game. I think it's great. I love the idea I love trick-taking. I think trick-taking is just a thing that makes my brain super happy. So for me, that is just stimulating, and I love it. I love that idea that you've got a goal, you want to do this thing, you want to get that card, you don't want to get that one, you want to make sure your partner gets that wins that trick, wins that round, and you're just kind of navigating all of these things all at once with your hand, and you're looking at it thinking, how am I gonna do this? So there's no communication in this game. They're not allowed to talk to each other, but you do have a communication token that allows you to give really specific information without giving any other kind. So you play a card down and you say, this is my only card in this suit, this is my highest card in this suit, this is my lowest card in this suit. And so it gives that little piece of information that's just vital for your success at that particular moment. And so you do get to give that information. But I love the cooperative nature of this and just playing. I love the idea of having a captain. The captain is the player that gets the 4 rocket. And you get to make choices sometimes based on the scenario. And it's just fun. It's fun. And I just play until we don't want to play anymore. And it's fine. I think it's an exciting game. I do have Mission Deep Sea, and we have played about 10 of those scenarios, and I think that it just took a while for us to get into it and get that started. It seems like it starts off slower than it does with The Crew, and most of the games in that one are done before you get to the end of the round, and it seems like in this one you play all the way through an entire hand, generally speaking, before you realize if you've won that particular game or not. So I do enjoy that this one's a little bit more in depth for me so far, and it's a little bit more engaging than I have experienced with Mission Deep Sea. So that wraps up my top 5 go-to card games that just fill that time, whatever that time is, perfectly. Well, I know you've got yours, so if you have any games that you think are your go-to card games, put them in the comments below. If you played these or like mine, let me know too. These are so near and dear to my heart, and I've played the snot out of them. So hopefully you've got that game or those games that you do as well. I'll see you next time.